Good evening. Come on in. I'm Ben Dorr, Executive Director for Minnesota Gun Rights. And we've got a lot to talk about. There's some not good things happening, and I need to bring you guys up to speed with the fight for the Second Amendment that's kicking off in Minnesota right now. All right, everybody. I got to bring you up to speed. I hope you had a great Christmas. I had a great Christmas. My kids had a great Christmas. Spent some time with the in-laws. It was very nice. But now it's back to battle. It's back to war. The radical left Democrats have taken total control of the Minnesota legislature. Tim Walz is still in the governor's mansion. And I'm afraid to say that right now, gun control is the number one objective for the Democrats coming into 2023. The legislative session kicks off on January 3. That's next Tuesday. All right. So we're winding down the downtime, everybody, and we are ratcheting up the battle plans, fighting on behalf of gun owners in St. Paul, and we need your help. We need your help. So I'm going to run by a couple things with you, some quotes, some things that we're hearing out of the Democrats, and some stuff from Lazy Rob with the Gun Owners Cuckus, who is already trying to sell out gun owners. Guys, let me know where you're watching from. Share this video with your family and with your friends. Share it with everybody you know on Facebook. Let me know where you're watching from. I am at the MGR headquarters right now in Northfield, Minnesota, and bringing you this update. First thing you need to know is that, I don't know if you're seeing it in the headlines, it's all over the place, but the Democrats are promising that the first thing they're going to do is streamline gun control when session kicks off. Now, when Republicans were in control, every single time it came time for the first session of the biennium, the budget session, they would say, well, we're not going to talk about social issues. We're not going to bring up pro-gun bills or anything like that. We're just going to deal with the budget, right? That's what they would always say. And then the Republicans would ignore all of our pro-gun bills for the next 5 months until they gavelled back out. But Democrats aren't doing that. They could say, well, we're just going to concentrate on the budget this year. But no, Democrats are going all in on red flag gun confiscations and universal background checks. It's gun registration, plain and simple. We have Dama Marie checking in from Minneapolis. We have Lois. She says Minnesota is afraid of guns. Only the radical left liberals. James says they ain't taking shit. We totally agree. Wendell says checking in from Ohio. Scott says just tell us how to help. I'm going to cover that right now, Scott. The first thing anybody can do to help tonight, if you haven't already, is go to the link in the description of this video and renew your membership for 2023. If you haven't done that, we need you to do that tonight. Give us the ammunition we need, the firepower, the resources to spend big money next year exposing these politicians, mobilizing gun owners, and making sure everybody is making their phone calls, sending emails, and putting massive amounts of pressure on their legislators. All right. If you've already done that, you can see scrolling across the bottom of the screen here, you can go to donate2mgr.com, make a contribution to our efforts. All right. We're making the budget. We're planning this out. We're going to spend big money. We've been planning for this for a while, but we still need help. We have a long ways to go. So if you can make a contribution or renew your membership, click on the link in the description of this video on top of it and help us shut this down. Now, after the 3rd of January, once all of the new senators and the new state reps have been sworn in, our systems will update for our pre-written emails, right? So Minnesota Gun Rights is famous for sending hundreds of thousands of emails into the state capitol during legislative session. We sent 125,000 emails in 2019 and in 2020 into St. Paul. from our members and supporters, and we shut down all the gun control. After session kicks off on January 3, our systems will update, and all the new state representatives, all the new state senators, their phone numbers, their email addresses, all of those things will be updated in our system. And then when you go and click on the links, when we send these to you on right here on Facebook Live or on YouTube or on via email, you can click those links and it'll send a pre-written email that we will write for you to your state senator, your state rep, telling them that you want them to oppose the gun control. So all of that will be coming within a week, and that's going to be what we need to do in massive, massive numbers. Because here's the thing. We have lunatics like communist Dave Pinto. He's a Democrat. Like, call them Democrats. They're not. They're communists. He's a communist from Metro City, Minneapolis. And he is going to be chief authoring red flag gun confiscations and universal gun registration. He's already promised it. And he's out there doing all the normal talking points, right? Oh, if it just saves one life. And his eyes point in like 30 different directions. He's a very strange individual. And he's out there talking about how we need to pass all this gun control. It's all common sense. And he's using all the buzzwords of the radical left, ignoring the fact that none of this gun control has saved any lives. Hasn't happened. Has not happened. But we know what this is. The Democrats who control our Minnesota state government, they're all about disarming their political opposition. That's what it is. It's all about taking guns out of our hands and giving power to them. Lisa says, definitely not giving up my guns. Rob says we need to protect our rights. Totally agree with you. Clint is using some colorful language that we agree with 110%. We agree with you. Jackie's checking in from Pine City. Guys, share this video with your family and friends. Okay. So we have a major problem, right? And I want to run this by you right away. There's another gun group in this state. If you've been following Minnesota gun rights for any length of time, you know exactly who I'm talking about. It's the Minnesota Gun Owners Cuckus. Okay. It's run by Brian Strasser. They call him Fester, and by a guy named Rob Dorr. We call him Lazy Rob is his name, not to be confused with the great Rob Dorr in our comments section right now, who we love. Lazy Rob Dorr. Now, the reason we're talking about another gun group right now is because when Minnesota gun rights got started 10 years ago in 2013, when we first got started in Minnesota, the reason we got started is because there was another gun group, GOCRA, and after the Sandy Hook shooting, the Minnesota legislature was trying to pass gun control, and GOCRA, that gun group, was actively in meetings in St. Paul helping to craft gun control legislation with State Senator Ron Latz. Okay. And gun owners reached out to us, said, help us, please help us. So we started Minnesota gun rights in order to stop the gun control from passing. And in order to do so, we had to stop this other gun group from supporting gun control and helping the Democrats pass it. At that time, Lazy Rob with the Gun Owners Cuckus, he was just a child. He's still pretty much a child now, but he was testifying in committee back in those days, and he was a good friend of GOCRA. Well, GOCRA is dead. They've been dead for years, and now Lazy Rob has started a new organization called the Minnesota Gun Owners Cuckus. And so here we are, fast forwarding 10 years down the road, and Lazy Rob with the Gun Owners Cuckus is already telling the news media that their gun rights organization is willing to sign off on gun control next year. We've been telling gun owners for years that the people who run this other group, they are sold out degenerates. They are liberals in every sense of the word. They are fiscal liberals. They are social liberals. They're LGBT pro-abortion, open borders, never Trump, radical left liberals who pretend to run a gun rights organization. They are proudly and openly anti everything conservative. Okay, and now I want to show this to you right here. I'm going to do a screen share. Do a screen share right here for you. Okay. Boom. How about that? So here's an article from WCCO, CBS, Minnesota, and it's titled, "After Years of Stalemate, Democrats See Opportunity for Gun Control Measures with Total Control of the Minnesota Government." And I want to be clear about something. A long time ago, the news media in Minnesota stopped calling Minnesota gun rights. We fought so hard. We fight so damn hard against the political establishment that the media no longer wants to give us any press. They only attack Minnesota gun rights. They don't ask for quotes. Who do they go to? The favorites of the politicians in St. Paul. So Lazy Rob gets all the phone calls from the leftist media like CBS Minnesota, and I'll show you in a minute here another Star Tribune article. So they call him to try to make him sound like the voice of gun owners in Minnesota, regardless of the fact that they have virtually no membership to speak of, but they don't want to give voice to Minnesota gun rights members and supporters because they know that will kill off their agenda. So we're going to scroll to the bottom of this article here. And so they talk about some of the gun control measures. They interview all the gun control advocates. They interview Lazy Rob with the Gun Owners Cuckus, as you can see. And right here on the bottom, there's a quote from Lazy Rob about some of the bigger gun control bills. It says in the end, if they want to stop mass shootings, we have to go to different strategies. And do you see that last sentence right there? He believes there is room for compromise with Democrats on improving Minnesota's safe storage laws and going after straw purchases of guns. Room for compromise. Room for compromise. So here's Lazy Rob using the buzzword there. No compromise. We're a no compromise organization. No, you're not. You're a liar. And here they are. Democrats have control. And before the fight has even begun, Lazy Rob is ceding ground to the Democrats and saying that there would be room for compromise on safe storage laws. Do you want to know what a safe storage law is? If you don't know what it is, it's a law that says your guns in your own house have to be locked up in a government-approved storage device at all times, unless they're being taken out to a shooting range or being used to go hunting, etc., etc., etc. No more having a pistol in your nightstand like we all do. No more freedom to do what you want to in your own house with your firearms. You have to lock them away. And when, not if, but when you ignore those laws and say, screw you, I am an American citizen, I can do as I please. And when you leave that pistol in your nightstand, when, not if, but when you leave that pistol in your nightstand to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your family in the middle of the night, if somebody breaks into your home, and this happens every damn day, every night in America, somebody's home gets broken into. When you pull that pistol and use it in self-defense against a violent intruder coming into your home, they will throw your ass in jail because your gun wasn't locked up under Minnesota's brand new safe storage laws that Lazy Rob with the Minnesota Gun Owners Cuckus signed off on and endorsed. Joy says, F that. Totally agree with you. Let's do a chat overlay. Let's let you guys in here. Now, whatever you say, we can see in the chat. Let's get this going, guys. No, the answer is no. We don't compromise with the radical left. I've said it for years. The Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus is a cancer to our Second Amendment community. They're a cancer to the work we're trying to do to stop gun control. They are sold out compromisers who will continue to sell gun owners out. So this all sounds good for the sound bites. This all sounds good for the sound bites. But I want to make one thing very clear, and the left knows this. The power in the Second Amendment community in Minnesota is in Minnesota gun rights. Our members and supporters are 10 times larger than anybody else's in the state. Because of you guys, we raise 10 times as much money, which we use during election seasons and during legislative sessions to beat on politicians who are bad on the Second Amendment. And we will continue to do that. Lazy Rob doesn't speak for anyone but Lazy Rob and his boss, Fester. Years ago, they should have been dumped out of the political conversation in this state because they will sell gun owners out every single time. Every time. Let's look at this. Let's look at another one really quick, shall we? Here. We're gonna bounce this off. We're gonna bounce the chat off the screen for a moment so you guys can read this with me. All right. We're going to turn that off. All right, here we have it. Let's zoom in a little bit. There. Can we see that? Good. All right, look at this. This is from the Star Tribune. So when the lefty lunatics at the Star Tribune call up Lazy Rob and they say, what do you think about these gun control bills? Here is what Rob had to say. As for red flag protective orders, so these are red flag gun confiscations, Lazy Rob said that the Gun Owners Cuckus would oppose any version of the proposal that does not give adequate due process to the accused. Sounds okay. If there was, here's a quote from him, if there was at least an adversarial process where the person who's being accused has the opportunity to defend themselves prior to their property being seized, that's at least something that we would be able to understand. No, it's not. No, it's not. There is no version of a red flag law that is constitutional. If you want to seize our guns, if you want to take our guns away from us, there's a simple process. We must have committed a crime. We should be arrested, indicted, convicted of a crime, and then we lose our constitutional rights. It's called due process. Simply agreeing to there being an adversarial process, agreeing that there can be some form of a hearing before they take your guns away under sheer hearsay, forcing somebody to go in front of a judge and defend themselves against sheer accusations with no crime committed, no arrest, no conviction. When there's a conviction of a crime, then there is due process. But Lazy Rob is already saying that there's a version of red flag laws that they would sign off on. So far, they're agreeing to forced storage laws, government storage laws, and a version of red flag laws. That's freaking 70% of the way there, guys. That's 90% of the way towards gun control. If you see anything from the Gun Owners Cuckus online, if you see anything from them, slam them nonstop for their support of gun control. This is the entire history of that organization. We as gun owners need to stand together and shut down all gun control in Minnesota. So here's my suggestion for Lazy Rob. Rob, stop talking to the media. If you want to discuss what the position is of gun owners on the Second Amendment and on these gun control proposals, we will tell them to you, and I'll help you say the right things. Okay? I'll help you become a better activist for the Second Amendment. For the time being, Rob, shut your mouth. Stop giving quotes like this to CBS News and freaking Star Tribune, the Stars and Sickle. Okay? Stop. 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 The last point I'll make on that, Ryan Hill says it perfectly. Red flag laws are unconstitutional. Scott, I hear you, man. Scott, we're reading your comments. Saw your comments. I've been giving you feedback, man. Matt says no red flag laws ever. And Scott once again says good intentions pave the way to hell. Couldn't agree with you more. So here's the last thing I'll say about Lazy Rob on this video tonight. For any politician who thinks that that organization will protect you if you support gun control, I want you to know that history has borne out for the last, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. For the last 5 election cycles, the Gun Owners Caucus and Lazy Rob have been totally unable to protect their friends who have supported bad legislation in the past. So the Gun Owners Caucus endorses bad politicians. We expose those bad politicians, and gun owners bounce those bad politicians out of office. So if you think that Lazy Rob's group can give you the cover you're looking for to support this stuff, I promise you it won't work. So think again. Rob, it might be best if you just sit this session out. The Second Amendment cause would be better off for it. Lindy Oakley says Lazy Rob hates Christians, so that's why he is trash. He hates truth. They are anti-Christian, 100%. I'll say it again. The Gun Owners Caucus is pro-open borders. They hated Donald Trump the entire time he was in office. They gave money to the DFL. Okay. They endorsed Democrat politicians running for office. They're pro-LGBTQ, AIW plus, they, them, she, her, Zer, all that stuff. They're pro-abortion. They're total lefties. They're publicly left of center in a major way. And they just say that they happen to be pro-gun. If we're going to win this fight in 2023, they need to shut their mouths and stop attacking gun owners by supporting gun control. Notice the Star Tribune and WCCO, who we just showed you, they're putting his comments front and center. Look what this gun group says. They're open to compromise. They're working to build. I'm talking about the Star Tribune, the Democrats, WCC. They're working to build public sentiment towards their gun control proposals. And when Rob gives those comments to them, he's helping these rags convince gun owners to support gun control. But there's a little bit of good news here. So I want to show you this. Matt, that's a solid question. Matt says, who is dumb enough to give the Gun Owners Cuckus money for anything? Apparently not very many people. Apparently not very many people. And that's the truth. So I want you to see this. I'm going to find this. Here's the truth. Now, we're going to talk a lot more about this in the days ahead, but I want you to see this. Here's again from the Star Tribune. So it says House Speaker Melissa Hortman, DFL Brooklyn Park, said the gun bills will be a, quote, high priority for her caucus in the upcoming legislative session, which begins in January 3 to be precise. Senate Majority Leader Kari Dietzich, DFL Minneapolis, did not say whether her caucus has enough votes to pass them, but said that Senate Democrats will consider them. Ooh, that's interesting. Here's the next part. Democrats' gun control ambitions will be tested by narrow majorities in both the House and the Senate. They hold the Senate by just one seat. One seat. Some DFL lawmakers from Greater Minnesota have been historically wary of the proposals. So listen to this quote. Having a DFL majority doesn't guarantee anything, said communist anti-gun Senator Ron Latz. I may have added the communist part in there. From DFL from St. Louis Park, who will chair the Senate's Public Safety Committee. The hard part has always been overcoming the inside party battles that threaten individual legislators' ability to continue in office. Bam! That right there is the money shot, boys and girls. The Democrats in the Senate, it seems that they don't have all the votes. They have the majority by one vote, but Grant Housechild from Senate District 3 barely won. Barely won. In fact, both of those House districts, so he's in Senate District 3, both of the House districts, so 3A and 3B, both went to Republicans. And Grant won the Senate seat by, I think it was like 700 votes. Barely won. He barely won that seat. For years, for decades, Tom Bach. Okay, Tom Bach was the senator from Senate District 3 up there. And he was the loudest voice of opposition for gun control in the entire Minnesota Senate as a Democrat. Okay, so Grant Housechild, if Grant Housechild votes for gun control, there is no force on heaven or earth that will stop Minnesota gun rights from running the largest exposure campaign in the history of this state in Senate District 3, exposing him right now and 4 years from now when he's up for re-election. We will make sure that every single one of those coal miners, every single one of those union members in Senate District 3 who are all pro-gun, will make sure every single one of them knows that Grant Housechild voted for red flag gun confiscations and or universal background checks or a safe storage law or something else. We'll make sure that every single gun owner in that district knows that that happened. And it's not just him. We'll do the same with Rob Kupek. We'll do the same with Judy Seeberger. Judy, now she's a total leftist feminist, but Judy Seeberger won her district by like 300 votes, I think it was. 300 votes. I'll take a look right here. Senate District 41. Yeah, Judy Seeberger, another Democrat, won her district by 321 votes. Judy, oh, Judy, you're front and center, sweetheart. We will come after you in your district with everything we have. So that is where the fight lies with Minnesota gun rights. Lazy Rob's out there telling all of these guys, yeah, you know, if we can get a halfway decent version of a red flag law, we might sign off on that. And, oh, forced storage laws? Heck yeah, we'll do that. Minnesota Gun Rights is going to fight like hell to stop all of those things. And right there is where it is. In the Senate, those 3 or 4, because there is as many as 3 or 4 Senate Democrats who would be very stupid to vote for gun control in the 2023 legislative session. Okay? So we are going to target these people. This all kicks off in just a couple of days. If you haven't renewed your membership in Minnesota Gun Rights, I encourage you to do so at the link on the top of this video. If you have, I'd really appreciate if you can make a contribution to our efforts at donate2mgr.com. It's running across the bottom of the screen right now. There's definitely reason for hope. Minnesota Gun Rights has a long memory. We give nothing. We give nothing, and we take everything from these politicians. No gun control, no deals, no red flag laws, no universal background checks, and we're going to target them with everything we have. We are building a war chest, and we are planning out an expense in the tens and tens of thousands of dollars. We're going to spend maybe more. Depends on what we can raise in the next few weeks. But we are going to target these people and give them a shock like they've never felt in their lives. And you can keep calling, if you're the lefties, you can keep calling Lazy Rob and trying to get him on your good side, but you will feel a freaking hammer come down on you like you've never felt before. Now, Ron Latz in St. Louis Park, it's like a 75-25 Democrat district. Gun control for Ron Latz is an all-day deal. But not for the rest of these guys. Not for the rest of them. And his comment right there, saying the hard part, this is his quote, the hard part has always been overcoming the inside party battles that threaten individual legislators' ability to continue in office. That is overtly saying that there are outstate Democrats who don't want to vote for gun control, and they're smart to feel that way. They're smart to feel that way. So, guys, we're going to be, again, next Tuesday session kicks off. We're going to have contact information for all of these state reps, these state senators, the rest of these guys. Put you in contact with them. Make your phone calls, send your emails, all these things. Renew your membership with Minnesota Gun Rights. We need your help. This is a battle that we can win. It's a battle we can win. But if we lose it now, we lose everything. If they pass red flag laws, it'll be very difficult to turn that back around in the future. If they pass universal background checks, statewide gun registration, it'll be very difficult to remove those laws later on in the future. The reality is that these gun control proposals save no lives. They save no lives. What they do is they infringe on the rights of gun owners. They take power away from the people and they give it to politicians, which is exactly opposite. It's the exact opposite of what should happen. The Democrats want to take our guns away because they want to disarm their political opposition. They want to disarm their political opposition, and that's who we are. And see, Lazy Rob, here's another quote. He says that these laws, quote, it adds a lot of unnecessary burdens to law-abiding gun owners while not addressing any of the actual people who are worried about getting guns. Rob, stop saying that the reason we're opposed to these gun control bills is because they add a lot of unnecessary burdens. It's not about the burden, okay? Because you know what that sound when that is your starting point, when you say that it's because it's a burden and it's difficult for gun owners to jump through these hoops, all the left has to do is say, well, look at this. Huh, well, all we want to do is save lives. All we want to do is save our precious babies. And this mean old Gun Owners Caucus guy over here, he doesn't want to pass these life-saving laws because of burdens. Can you imagine caring so little about precious lives that you wouldn't go through a couple of burdensome regulatory hoops in order to get your firearms? How could you care so little? That's what the left will say. It's not about the burdensomeness. We oppose these laws because they crap all over our constitutional freedoms. We oppose these laws because the left wants to disarm and subjugate the people of America. They want us as slaves. They hate us. They hate our families. They hate our freedom. They hate our God. They hate our system of government. They hate our flag. They hate the nuclear family. They hate straight people. They sure as hell hate straight white men. They want to disarm all of us. That's the problem. It's not that it's burdensome. It's that they want to amass power to themselves and take power away from the people of Minnesota. And to that we say, like hell, ain't going to happen. Not on our watch. And if you pass these laws, if you vote on these laws, we will come after you with everything we have. So Rob is both politically stupid and he's ideologically stupid. It's a bad combination for somebody who's supposed to be on our side. But we're going to do what we do best. We're going to power onto these people, pile onto them, give you guys contact information. That's all I have for right now, guys. Much more information in the days ahead. We're gearing up for major fights. I love you. Thank you for fighting with us. Renew your membership in Minnesota Gun Rights. Help us stop these people. Help us save our Second Amendment freedoms. We have the game plan, and we're going to unveil all of it to you in the days ahead. So share this video with your family and friends, and we will talk again very soon.